Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Bushman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the individual life path forecast for the new moon solar eclipse that's happening on October 14th or 15th, depending on where you live within the world. So we have officially entered eclipse season. So this is big energy. And now with these eclipses, we have an eclipse on the 14th, 15th, obviously, the new moon solar eclipse that we'll be talking about today. And then at the end of the month, I believe on the 29th, we have a lunar eclipse. So we'll talk about that as it gets closer. But these eclipses are big energy. And so this new moon eclipse could be bringing in a new storyline that we'll be working with for the next 6 months, next year, or for the next 18 months. And the eclipse at the end of the month, which we'll go into more detail about as it gets closer, has a likelihood to potentially close something out, close out a cycle we've been moving through for the last 6 months or a year or 18 months. And so you'll know as it pertains to your own storyline, sort of how it's affecting you, how it's coming in. But this new moon solar eclipse, again, has the potential to sort of unfold over the next 6 months or up to a year, potentially. And so pay attention to what comes in for you. Now, you may not see it come to full fruition or hit you like a lightning bolt on the day of. However, you can kind of come back to this reading potentially and see it as what was initiated, what was something that came in sort of as an understanding that, okay, this is the storyline. This is the seed that the story is going to be planted around. Because you'll have some kind of indication. It's very likely that you'll have some kind of indication as far as what this storyline is going to be about. So again, it's going to be an unfolding. So be patient with yourself as you move through it. Be open to what and who comes in for you over the coming months, because it's all going to be relevant and it's all going to play into a bigger storyline. So without further ado, let's take a look. Life path number 1. So this eclipse, you all are working with the energies of the 5 and the 6, and your animal wisdom message is that of or from Hawk. So with Hawk coming through, this tells me that there's something that you need to sort of pull back from. There's something that you are just way too immersed in, too close up to, right? Whether you're too emotionally invested into it, you're too close to the situation that is making it difficult for you to really see the full picture or to truly see what's going on. And without being able to have a greater understanding of sort of what's going on, or to be able to see past your own sort of filter about the situation, it's going to be really hard for you to make a decision that you can feel really solid in, right? Because again, there's potential that there's like an emotional charge around whatever this is, especially because you all are working with 5 and 6 energy. So there may potentially be some kind of change within the home or family dynamic that's occurring that feels like you can't get your footing. It feels like you can't get a deeper sense of clarity around whatever this is. It's almost like you've been looking for answers around something and it seems to you keep missing it, right? Or there's kind of a veil around it and you can't seem to get beyond the veil. And that's where I think with Hawk coming through, you need to pull back. You need to remove yourself from the situation maybe for a period of time so that the dust can settle, right? Like I just think about this situation maybe, and again, that potentially has to do with family or very close friendships, romantic partners, close community as well, or your home, just your home in general. But there's something where there's been sort of dust being kicked up. There's some kind of, whether it's just feeling like you can't get a sense of security, right? That would be that 5 energy. There's something here where you need to make some kind of a decision, but you're finding it difficult to do so because you're too immersed in the situation, right? Or you're trying to control the situation to the point of exhaustion. And by that, I just mean you want to have some deeper level of understanding about the situation. And so you're trying to control the outcome, and potentially controlling other people in that process. And so I would say whatever you can do to either push the pause button or pull out from the situation for a period of time to allow the dust to settle so that you can get a better vantage point, right? Because we think about, Hawkeye vision. It's, hawks can see very, very well from a distance. They can't always see as close, as well close up, and they certainly can't see well in the dark, right? And so there's something here where maybe you're in the dark about something, and it could be with your children, it could be with your partner, or again, friends, or your home. Maybe you're thinking about moving, but you are so caught up on sort of the stress of that move or the ramifications of that move that you're missing the benefits of that move, or you're missing like the opportunity or the opportunities that it could present, right? So there's just something here, again, where it feels like you're trying to get your footing, but it's just, you've got this 5 energy. So there's some kind of change that's trying to happen. There's some kind of shift here that's occurring. You're trying to potentially keep it from happening, or trying to control how it happens or what it looks like or the outcome. And really what you're meant to do is kind of go with the flow here and let the current take you, while also keeping your eye on the situation, but from a distance, right? So where you're not so immersed into it that you're missing a big piece of the puzzle. With 5 energy, again, there's some kind of shift that wants to happen. There's some kind of change. And because there's also 6 energy present, it has to do with the home, family, again, close relationships, or love, right? How we love, how we receive love, how we view love, all of these things. So there could be some shifts there. And what I would say is when we're in a 5 cycle, and now this is an eclipse, right? So there's something here that you're going to feel that urge to get going on. And it's a new moon, right? And it's a solar eclipse. So the sun is being eclipsed out for a period of time, which tells me you can have that urge to make a change or make some kind of adjustment. But it's like the light is being dimmed for a moment. And it's like almost like that darkness, right? And so what that tells me is pause, get a better perspective before you make any like massive drastic changes, and make sure that the changes that you're making are ones that are not just impulsive in the attempt to control the outcome necessarily, right? Like obviously we want to have some degree of understanding of what the outcome could be. We understand that, right? But in life, we don't have control over everything with the outcome. So our responsibility is the effort, and then turning it over to the universe, God, higher power, whatever, to do its part. And so we don't always necessarily have control over the effect or the outcome, right? Just the effort. So with this, there's something with your home, your family, your loved ones that's trying to shift, that's trying to change. Again, it could just be a move. It could be a change in location, a change of community, change in finances that have to do with the home. There's some kind of major shift that's trying to come in here with this eclipse. The eclipse starts a new storyline. And remember, it's going to unfold over the next potentially 6 months to a year or longer. So it's one of those things where you've just got to kind of go with the flow and see what presents itself to you, and then make your adjustments or make your decisions from that, but from a space where you are not so immersed in the situation that it's impeding your decision-making process. Does that make sense? So you ultimately have the power of choice, but there's something that's being obscured because you're too close to the situation. And so this would actually be a really good time as well to, get a third-party opinion from someone who is unbiased to the outcome right? So if you're thinking about making some kind of major life decision, marriage, divorce, moving a house, having children, I don't know, right? Whatever. But there's something that's keeping you from making the final decision to make it happen. This would be a great time to maybe get a professional third-party guidance, right? Just to kind of, again, someone who's unbiased to the situation, who's not trying to influence your decision. And again, this is going to unfold over a period of time. So the players who need to be part of this play will present themselves to you, right? The pieces will come, but just make sure that you are not so immersed in the situation that you miss those pieces, or that you maybe misread them and try to manipulate or control them to the point that you're actually self-sabotaging, okay? But potentially big changes that have to do with the home, finances, partnerships, status, that sort of thing. Moving is very possible over the next 18 months for some of you. Yeah, so big changes. But when the 5 and the 6 come together, or let's just say when the 5 is present, these are changes that are putting us into greater alignment with our soul's purpose, with our destiny. These are not changes that are moving against us. They can feel uncomfortable, but they are working with us, not against us. So just keep that in mind, all right? Big energy for you all ones. I hope it's a great eclipse. Take care. Bye for now.